Let not sin therefore reign in your mortal bodies, that ye should obey in the lust thereof. Neither yield ye your members as instruments of unrighteousness unto sin, but yield yourselves unto God, as those that are alive from the dead, and your members as instruments of righteousness unto God. For sin shall not have dominion over you, for ye are not under the law, but under grace. What then? Shall we sin because we are not under the law, but under grace? God forbid. Know ye not that to whom ye yield yourselves servants to obey, his servants ye are to whom ye obey, whether of sin unto death, or of obedience unto righteousness. But God be thanked that ye were the servants of sin, but ye have obeyed from the heart that form of doctrine which was delivered you. Being then made free from sin, ye became the servants of righteousness. I speak after the manner of men, because of the infirmity of your flesh. For as ye have yielded your members servants to uncleanness, and to iniquity unto iniquity, even so now yield your members servants to righteousness unto holiness. For when ye were the servants of sin, ye were free from righteousness. What fruit had ye then in those things whereof ye are now ashamed? For the end of those things is death. But now, being made free from sin, and become servants to God, ye have your fruit unto holiness, and the end everlasting life. For the wages of sin is death, but the gift of God is eternal life through Jesus Christ our Lord. That's good enough for today. All right, and I left school at 3:38 or something, so I have here. Pass that back. You take yours and pass it. So there's some stuff that I haven't. What's it? Unit 5. You don't need this one.
No.
You need this one. So I'll hold on to this one. All right. I didn't see it. English. 6. Yes. I'll need it tonight. All right. All right. Somebody help me out with this problem. With a calculator, Richard, you're on a calculator already. What's 3.2 times 1.2?
3.84. 3.84.
So how do we do this?
3.84 times 10 to the negative fifth.
Okay, why to the negative fifth?
Because you have 3 positive and 8 negative. If you add a positive 2,
Right.
Can
Now,
you wait just a second?
no, are you not done with lesson 1?
Well, I think I did this one.
Okay, there's a piece of possibility, I suppose. You just look at this. Let's look at this situation. $16 is what fraction of 20?
It says 16 over 20.
16 over 20 introduced.
That's all you do. 16 is over of. Is over of. And then you reduce it to what?
Use that to, so you go 4 bits.
4 fifths. Correct. All right. And anything else interesting? Oh. What's the, what is that equal?
X, 1.
X to the 0, yes, 1. That's correct. All right, let's go ahead and check lesson 1. Starting at number 2. No, page 2. 1A. Or B. We're going to done 1A for you. Is that correct?
And we did one.
Cool. B. 575 per yard. C is 838 per yard, and D is 573 per yard. 2. 9.3 times 10 to the 8. 3 is 7.2 times 10 to the 12. 4 is 8.2 times 10 to the first.
I just have 10. Is what's the first?
Yes.
Is that wrong?
I'll give you a half for this one, but no, yeah, it's supposed to be 10 to the first. 5 is 8.4 times 10 to 13. 6, the answer is 50.24 square centimeters. Your formula is surface area equals 4 pi r squared. 7a is 1.5 quarts. And B, 5 1/3 yards, square yards. 40, yeah. So, proportions for those.
Do you have that proportion
Conversions.
I don't have proportions.
I don't either.
I do.
You have some people with proportions, you have some people without proportions. Okay, so here's the deal. Anytime you're doing a conversion, you should have proportions. Until you're out of school and I don't care anymore. And your accuracy is not my problem. The thing is, they don't even have a proportion of the 48 square feet to the yards. They do have one on 7A.
I used the proportion on B and I got it wrong.
So what you probably did, you had the wrong conversion rate, right? So you had, or I don't know exactly. Basically, what you should have had is 9 square feet to 1 square yard. 9 square feet in a yard. Good, yes, so that's the deal on that. Boy. I keep going back and forth on these, don't I? That's no problem. I need to pick away and stick to it.
Mr. Trent, if they don't have a proportion and they don't tell you to have a proportion, then why is it wrong?
Alright, so here's what we're going to do from here on out. I think I may have mentioned it yesterday to put a proportion there. I will try to look, I'll say it this way. I'll look through your work, the thing beforehand, and I'll tell you where you for sure have to have a proportion. Just because they can be a little bit tricky. But proportions are tools that are just insane. They're terribly handy. All right. 8A, 37.50 is 3 cones, and B is $7.45. 9, 1/3. B, -99. And C is -12. 10, A is greater than 3. So put a circle on the 3, arrow to the right. 11. Area of the base. 12. Terms. 13. Right. 14 irrational. 15. Distance equals rate times time. B 27. 16A 231. B is 128. 17A is 16 and 2/3%. B is 11. C is 27. D is 8. 18. 1,600 square feet. The formulas are, well, you can have two different formulas. Area equals length times width, and area equals S squared is what they have. If you have both of them length width, that's fine.
I'll do that.
And add them together.
I just want A equals length times width times 2. Which doesn't,
Did it work?
yes. Because if you cut it right here,
Ah, I see what you did
they're
there.
identical.
Mm-hmm.
I use the LW one and I times them to the
Ooh, that's painful. So you have a massive number. You went 1,200 times 400?
No.
What do you have? What did you do?
Well, I just have 40 times 20 and then that number times the next number, so on and so forth.
Oh, that way. So 40 times 20 is fine, which is 400, or 800. Okay. You have LW though? Area equals length times width? So you just went around and multiply them. Okay, well, just take, I guess, a point off for your answer, I guess. Is simply what it's on there. 19A, 2 squared times 5. B is 3 times 5 squared. C is 2 times 3 times 5. D is 2 squared times 3 times 5 squared. And E is 300. 20. Y equals the square root of 18. B n equals 4, and C x equals the square root of 32. 21. Negative 2a minus 7b. Switched. B 3x cubed plus 2x squared minus x. And C 2x squared minus x plus 6. 22. 1.3 yards. Cubic yards.
I have 1 and 1/3 cubic yards.
I can deal with that. 23. P, the equation is P equals 2L plus 2W. And the answer is 10 yards.
What?
10 yards.
That says wrong for the next higher yard.
I have like 126 yards.
126 yards? No, you multiply too many things by too much.
I have 7.
Oh, did you go 2L times 2W?
No. I don't think.
Because that would be
I have
awesome.
the right, Mr. Kent, I have the right thing, so they have 100 and,
Oh.
I came out with 7 and 2/3 yards. I don't really know how I did that,
Okay, we'll count it wrong for now. If you have your work there, 2
but.
times 108.
Yeah.
2 times 108 plus 2 times 60.
So I have,
So that's 216 plus 120.
so I just have, I have, honestly, no idea what
And 336 is the 336 inches is the perimeter.
What?
336 inches.
I don't know what you're talking about here. So
The
I have,
perimeter is 336 inches.
so I have,
Okay. Well, for now, count it wrong. If you can prove me wrong, I'll take it. But I'm not thinking I am. If your formula are at least at 1 point. 24. A is $1.15. $1.15. And B is $24.22. 25. New price is $74.82. 26. A is X. B is 1. C is 1 over 125, and D is 1 over 81. 27 is 48. Here again, you should have proportions. 9 over n equals 3 over 16.
It's 48.
48.
I got 40.
What's your proportion? 9 over n equals 3 over 16.
Yeah.
So 9 times 16 divided by 3 is going to be 48.
okay, what is 27 and 28?
28 is 84. Your proportion is 4 over 5 equals n over 1
I
over
have
5.
my proportions, but, okay, what's 27?
48. 9 over n equals 3 over 16 is the proportion.
So what's, 29?
And 29 is 3/8. 39 over 104 reduces to 3/8.
What was 28 again?
84. Thirty, 9 feet. Formula area equals base times height.
I have LWH and I got it wrong.
Yeah, that'll do it. It's a parallelogram. All parallelograms are the same as rectangles, essentially. Area equals base times height. 31, 0.522 dollars, and B is 3.4 cents. 32, 1.15, $1.15 per dozen, and 33 is $1.44 per dozen.
So Cincinnati is,
Yes, sir. All right. Proportions are necessary on 26 and 27.
Twenty-six and 27?
Yep. Is over equals percent over 100. All right. So, we have experience with drawing congruent angles and drawing line lengths, correct? Perfect. And they're enjoyable, honestly.
No.
So, say what? Hey, get back here, you varmint. Hang on a second. I may have found a use. Nope. Didn't work. All right, so here's the deal. They're going to
They
give
stick
you.
to the whiteboard?
Say what?
Those things stick to the whiteboard?
Yeah.
They
Pretty well.
probably break the way.
No, they don't break the whiteboard. They just stick
throw
it.
it at it, throw it at it.
No.
That's
They do thump pretty decently when they go down though. All right.
There is a chip off the one side.
Yes, that just happened this morning. So apparently when it snapped together for somebody, I don't know. Probably me.
Might have been if I pinched my fingers or something. Ow.
Possible.
All
right.
That hurt. I wouldn't recommend it.
So we start with a line. We remember how do you do an angle? If you're supposed to copy an angle with a compass,
That thingy.
with this thing, yes.
Pop.
What's this? What are the steps? Here, I'll just make an angle real
Mr.
quick.
Ken, how much did you pay for that Chinese
Huh?
thing that you're holding?
This thing?
Yeah.
Oh, $17 or something insane. Way too much. All right, so if we want to copy an angle, how do we do it?
You stick one end on the one side and one end on the
I'm sorry. I should have made somebody who didn't want to. All right. steps that you need, but you're there. Now what? Hey, you're just wild guessing now?
Hey, it looks alright.
It looks pretty close, but it's not right.
I don't know.
All right, Chris, you were the next helpful one. You can come up and help me with it.
I don't know how to do it.
You don't know how to do it. Cody, do you remember how to do angles?
That's sort of, I can just tell you.
All right. I'll just do it. So, what is... You can tell it's good because of the way that it is. All right. Same as everything I own.
Oh, that one.
So you go like this to mark where that line goes through. That's correct.
So there's really no difference between doing that and doing triangles.
Yes. So this is that's where your line was supposed to go through. Really, really close. All right. So you're off just a little bit. So that's the step for doing the angle, and then all you have is the line lengths, right? So we have a triangle we're trying to copy. It's like this, approximately. So basically what we did is first we found that one angle. This is the angle that was given, and then we have the line lengths, which are good and happy and everything. Or actually, we're not trying to copy anything. We have line lengths. So they give us one angle and then two lines. All right, or three lines. Oh, they give us the letters. Oh, that's good. All right, so notice how this goes A, B, and A, C. So now we just use these to figure out the length of these two legs, right? So we're going to call this AC, and we're going to call this one AB. Oopsie. And then we have this angle. So we already figured out the angle. Yay, go us. So now we just do the old. We didn't do the angle? So remember, with the angle you do this. You and then with your new thing, you copy off of this one. And then you figure out your distance here. You get that? And so now we have our angle nailed down. So now all we have to do is just these line lines. And it's important to keep track of this, right? So A is obviously, in this situation especially, wherever the numbers are the same, these two ends of the line go to the same spot, correct? So what we're going to do is we're going to call this angle A, obviously.
Mr.
And then-
Ken,
yes,
why
sir?
did they think we still have the fourth book?
I know, it's like, no. If you have forgotten how to
They're pretty
You guys are
optimistic.
like,
They're presuming a lot.
They're optimistic is what they are. All right, so that's AB. This line right here is the length of AB, and this one right here is going to be AC. Zippity-doo. Yeah, you gotta sing. You gotta use the right notes, otherwise it's not going to come out correctly. That's one of the rules of being a math teacher.
Mr. Ken, your
All right.
angles are so messy, I have no idea what you're doing.
Okay, so this one was what we used to figure out our angle, right? We
I
don't
still
need that one
have
anymore.
no clue what you're doing.
We don't need that anymore. So now all we did is we figured out the length of these lines, right? So this is line AB, this is line AC. You see this? We took AB and we put it up here. We took AC and we put it down here. So now we have too much length on these lines, so we wind up just, trimming them back. So now this line is exactly as long as this one. That one is exactly as long as this one. And this angle right here matches that angle right there.
It does?
Exactly. So now we are one step away from finishing our triangle off, and that's just simply what?
that's making. Okay. No sense at all.
Wow.
But they say
we'll do
the
another.
book is contradicting what you're saying. Like they have this whole diagram up here with just the
No. Oh well, yeah, boring. They did. No, it actually is. It's completely the same. They did it a little different steps than I did, which we can do with their steps if you want.
Why do you bring Tilda this morning?
I don't know. I hadn't driven her in about 3 weeks or more.
she was giving
I hadn't driven her since before Christmas vacation. She just sat there hunkered over like an old neglected dog. And well, what are you gonna do? You have to. It's one of the
Sell her
rules.
so somebody else can drive her.
Yeah, sure.
What? No.
Did she give you carbon monoxide poisoning?
Also, poor
When
old
you
Karen.
give cars names, you don't want to talk bad around them, do you?
That's right.
What happened to Karen?
She has Karen. Also, Karen began to complain again. She's,
About
Karen, she's the commander of the Big Jeep, the family of the And I looked under her hood last night and there was smoke coming up from the back of the engine.
what? Uh-oh.
She hasn't had it.
She was hungry.
She's hungry.
Hangry. She wants more parts and attention, which, well, she's probably going to get it.
Spoiled.
So, oh dear. These things happen. First, we're going to do line AB.
Hey, no, we're not doing here.
Let's do number 1.
Yeah, let's do number 1.
Well, we can do that. A, B, A, C, and we have this angle, roughly. So yeah, so what basically the deal is what Karen had done for me is she overheated like an absolute savage on the way out here when we were pulling the trailer. And so I think what happened is one of my cylinder heads warped and blew out a head gasket, and hopefully didn't break anything else. Like no valve seats fluttering around inside the cylinders. I don't know. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use some of my diagnostic tools to figure out how sick she is, or whether she's just angry. But smoke, reminding me of sickness. All right. So here's what you do. First of all, take your compass. All right. So figure out the length of AB. All right. We'll do it this way just because, well, why not? All right. So we just
Figure out
start.
the length of AB. Okay, we go.
Figure out the length of AB. That's going to be the bottom of our triangle
Okey-doke, I got it.
because that's what I want to do. All right. So we draw a line from the point of the compass to where that ends. That's A,
You're wrong.
C. Mine's
B.
yeah.
A, B. All
Mine's
right.
not big enough. Hey,
Next things next.
So now you, so what did?
Now what we're going to do
So you
is
just draw a
easy.
line.
Shush. Everybody, quiet. What we're going to do
Yeah, I
now,
don't want to have
Yeah.
compass that's big enough.
you don't have a compass that's big enough.
Yeah.
Let me get you a trashy
My
compass.
big one.
Trashy compass. Check. Oh, perfect. All right. So now all we have to do is figure out this angle. That's the next step. So we go floppity floppity flop.
Okay, I'm still not getting what you're getting your
Alright.
bottom about.
So we're gonna. So we did the length. We did this line first. All
Yeah,
right.
so.
So now we have this line. Check. Point. Now we've got to do the
If I
angle.
try to do the angle, it's gonna mess up this line.
No, it'll be fine. So what we do now is we take this and we go and just make sure we can get that angle figured out. All right. So
I
we
thought I figured this out.
first line. Just follow along. Do the first line. Get the length of the first line. Put line in.
Draw line in the middle.
Just do a line. Get the length of your first line figured out, and then we'll do the angle. So length of the first line.
Pencil, so you can-
Yes, you'll want to use a pencil probably on these. So length of the first line, then we'll do the angle. So I did the first arc of the angle. Is everybody with me? Everybody caught up with the length of the first line down?
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's wait till everybody's on the same page.
I'm on the same page,
Well, hold off a little bit. Hold on to your horse fish, if you will. All right. Everybody got the line down. Angle next. So now we started working on the angle. So we go whoosh, measure our angle. Whoosh, start plotting our next angle. All right. Do a big enough arc to make sure you can catch it.
So,
All right. So that's the first part of measuring our angle. So you're working on this angle right here.
so you just
So you're
draw.
copying that angle. We only have one angle to copy. The one
Yeah,
angle is
upside
two legs.
down.
Did I do this right then?
Oh, you're a little bit excessively big. Go to this angle now. That's all right. So you got the length of this line. AC. Okay, so first things first. You take the line, the AB line, right, and you figure out the length of that.
Okay, I'm doing mine upside down because we're on. I did it.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. It doesn't really matter. So now you got that first line nailed down. Good. Use your ruler and make a line right there. Then we'll start with the angle. So make a small arc on the angle. Measure the angle with your compass. So just make an arc, make sure it stays within the legs. There you go. Go in that corner, perfect. Oh, you might run out of room there too. That's all right. Just go opposite directions, it'll be fine. All right, so now we're there. Now we measure this part of the angle. So we're just working on the angle now. We're not really worried about anything else. Got our angle snag. Boink. Got our angle snagged again. All right. So now what we're going to do, I feel like maybe things are complicated with it. That's all right. So now we have to make our second leg, and we want to know the length of it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go here to this line,
Wait, which one
and
are
we're
we
going
supposed to
to
do?
measure.
The long one or the short
It
one?
doesn't matter.
The top one.
Just long to keep track of. So then
So
we
do you
measure our
always-
next line. This is 1, this is 2, and we got the angle done. Check. I mean, kind of done. Pretty close.
Checkmate.
Yeah. Now we're ready for number 3. This is your third step. All right?
Mr. Kidd,
Yes, sir.
so couldn't we started with AC and it wouldn't make a difference?
Yeah, as long as you only do one line each. I mean, as long as you only do each line once is what I'm saying. All right. So I also ran out of room on account of I'm a genius. So what you do here is you go clear up into the directions on the wall, and you go what? And you mark the length of AC. Right?
Well, that does not match number 1, but it does match.
That's fine.
From point A.
I did my AC longer. I didn't look at you going on. I'm doing my own
So
thing.
put
So you
mine.
make sure that that you have the AC going on. Mark the length of this, of the second line you have. We're on the last step now. So you mark the length of this step. Oh, I did mark up there. Nice. So neat. And then what you do is you put your ruler on this point, crossing this, and through that arc up here that you made. Very carefully on the wall. So your ruler lines from this point,
I just went and drew it.
Point A.
Then
goes through this, and then it'll stop up here on this arc. So that'll give you the length of that line up to there, right? So now you have 2 lengths. You have AC, you have the total length of AC, you have the total length of AB, and you have this angle. There's only one thing left to make it a triangle, and that's to draw from this point clear up to this arc up here, wherever that is right there.
didn't we already learn how to draw triangles? That'd make it way easier to do.
If you ever do geometry, it is a very good thing to know. I was happy I learned it.
When did you do geometry?
When I was in 11th grade. I'm trying to push for a different math as well for next year.
Not accounting.
Not accounting. I think accounting is good.
So,
But one of the things on my list is geometry, so we'll see.
Mr. Kidd, accounting.
Geometry next week.
Say what, Richard?
Accounting. Does anyone even do it with the paper
They said it's
anymore?
really
Everyone
easy.
just does it on computers.
There's a very slim chance we'll do accounting actually.
Why is that?
They claim it's so easy.
If we do accounting, we should definitely
All
do
right.
it on computers.
Does anybody understand? Does everybody understand what's going on with their triangles? You just follow the steps 1, 2, 3. Good, because I have to go and do another class, which I have no time for, or you're 20 minutes behind schedule. So, good. Algebra.
Yes.
Oh, solving systems of equation for substitution. I love when I don't do good things. Writing the equation of a graph. I see. So we know how to determine the slope of a graph. That's good. And we know how to determine the y-intercept, which is also good. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it isn't. All of these ones are easy, because that's the way they engineered it. So, when you write an equation, or when you see an equation, what are the 2 parts we have, when we look at the equation, we see y equals negative 3x plus 4. What's going on here? The y-intercept is which? 4. So that's what kind of a 4? A positive 4. So that's a positive 4 y-intercept. And our slope is? Negative 3. That's correct. All right. So we already know how to figure out slopes, so that's not a big deal. All we have to do is figure out how to read a graph and draw these things down. All right, so here's what we got. We have negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. That's enough. 1, 2, ooh. Negative 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So this is 3, negative 3. All right, how would we draw the graph for this? We'd start, obviously, by figuring out the slope, correct? What's our slope? So this is in line with the negative 3 here.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5.
Remember, it's rise over run.
What does that mean?
The rise is 6 and the run is 3.
Not quite right.
Hey, you count the 0 as 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1,
2, 3. Oh, yeah, that's right.
5.
It moves up 5 spaces.
It's up to 3, 4, 5, 1,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Moves up 5 spaces.
5 over 4.
So, that's, 5 over 3 is what it is. Now, hang on a second. That's close.
Negative.
Negative 5 over 3. All right. So that means we can start writing our equation. Y equals negative 5 over 3 x.
Plus 2.
That's important. Right. Our y-intercept is 2. And it's positive 2, so we just write it down.
Is that?
Yes. That's all it is. Simple as hell.
So always begins with y equals.
Okay, but
Yes. In this situation, it's always going to look like.
can we do 3?
Sure.
So I have y equals 4x minus 1. Is it negative 4x?
Is it a positive or negative slope?
Y
It's
equals
a
negative.
negative slope. It's going to be negative 4.
X. And then plus 1. Minus 1.
What about for this situation? That's 2, by the way.
I don't know.
All right, so what's our slope to start out with?
There's not one.
There's no slope.
There's
So technically that would be 0x, correct? Which means we just kind of leave it out of the equation.
So y equals
So we write
2.
y equals 2.
So this is
So for 6 it's y
For
equals
6.
1, 2, 3. 3 y equals
For 6 is y equals
Okay, can you help me with 23, please?
3. Okay, so we have to solve for C. Fahrenheit equals, this is actually very interesting for getting your real equations. This is the Fahrenheit to, what is this, the Celsius to Fahrenheit conversion. And it's an actual real equation. All right. F equals 5/9 Celsius plus 32. All right. We're solving for what?
C.
So that means what?
You have to subtract. You have to get it by itself.
You have to get C by itself. So first things first. What's the first step?
Subtract 32.
Okay.
On both sides.
Okay, and then get
F minus 32 equals 5 over 9 C. Is that right?
to divide everything by 9 and times everything by times everything. Multiply everything by 9.
It's 9 over 5, not 5 over 9.
Oh. Okay, then times everything by 5.
Okay.
45C. Wait, you don't have to times.
No, because it cancels it.
Okay,
It's just 9, it's just
okay.
5
And
times
then
9.
5.
What's negative 32 times 5?
Negative
116?
160.
Negative 116. All right.
Now you
Yeah.
divide everything by 9.
Now you divide everything by 9.
Okay.
2, 5, F over 9.
So we have actions like this: go 5, 9's F
So
minus
5, 9, F minus 160 equals 9.
160 over 9 is what? What's 160? We have 160 over 9.
It's 17. Like 7.
It can, so 160 over 9 equals C.
Okay, so here's the thing. No, you're not really wrong, particularly. We're going to simplify this on account of we're coming out with some funny numbers. So if you did it this way, it would actually work. All right. There is a better way to do it. And the way we're going to do that is we're just going to back it up to about,
Half the problem, chop, chop.
honestly, yes, approximately.
More than half.
So the thing is, when you have a coefficient that's a fraction, and you want to get your number by itself, you can honestly just multiply by the coefficient. So in this situation, we have 9 over 5. We can just multiply both sides by 9 over 5. Same as we would.
Are you saying that wasn't the right answer?
What did I do?
Was it the right answer before?
No. Oh, yes. Yeah. So you can. Why did they tell you this?
Because of the one from
So when you divide, no, they're not really lying. They're expecting you to extrapolate something
That our brains can't think
that,
of.
well, mine didn't even catch this one the first time, or the second time, to be real honest. All right, so when you're dividing by a fraction, what do? 1/3 divided by 3/5. Actually, we're going to go 8/3, because that's going to be better. Right, so what you do is you do what? 1/3
times 3.
times 3 over 8. That's correct. And then you can just simplify 1, 1, get 1, 8. That's really cool. So what we're going to do here is we need to divide here by 9 over 5, correct? Right?
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is rather than divide by 9 over 5, we're going to multiply by 5 over 9 on both sides. I'm sorry I ran that such a runaround. But basically what that does is it cancels this out, and we just get 5 over 9 f minus 32 equals C. That is the answer. Actually, what they do is they actually switch this around just for C equals 5 over 9 f minus 32. It is definitely a kind of a complicated one, and it's the whole fraction they have to figure out.
And is 13 8 times the square root of 6? And on 24, since r is squared, you have to leave it in the room.
You're saying which? What do you have?
24. I have SA over 4b equals r in the y.
Okay, so you're solving for r.
Yeah. Can
So
R
you wind up with this, you have
R
SA
is
over
just
4P.
R, right?
Yeah, you have to be R by itself.
Because-
You can't leave it as a square. SA over 4P equals R squared. So what you do is you have to root both sides.
So the other side
When you root one side, you have to root both sides. So you wind up with this situation. R equals the square root of SA over 4P. Ooh, look at that graph, 36. What's going on? Notice 36.
So if it's one up and one over, is it just negative one?
Go ahead.
They're negative.
Number 5 is -1 minus 2.
Number 5, it's rise over run.
But it's
So
2
it's-
over 2.
2 over 2, number 5, isn't it?
No, it's one, you go one up and one over.
Right, positive or negative slope.
Negative.
Right, so it's
Negative 1x.
negative 1, no.
2.
Negative 1/2 x.
Yeah, negative 1/2 x.
Because, remember, it's rise over run,
How do you do 1/2?
and we get 1 over 2, right? So the run is 2, the rise is 1. That's a negative. And then you just put x behind it. We get a 1/4 if we want. 1/16. Really not. Hold it.
Robert needs to go on a walk. Can you help me with this?
Robert needs to look it up on the internet.
What?
On number 36.
What is Robert doing?
Okay, so we have a graph, and we have to plot a bunch of points, and we have to use these points to figure something out. All right. And why they use this to stand for 6 penny, I will never know. Alright, so start with a graph, this is open-ended graph, and put
So is this supposed to be on
x,
the graph?
this is the penny, this is the x coordinate, the penny line, penny count. And the y is the length.
Is this the graph this or?
Yes, this is, I'm supposed to have this
This
nailed
is
down.
like graph 36.
Yeah, so you're supposed to plot it and then use it for the whole way down to 38, 36, 37, 38. Which is what I wanted to look at.
Did you also have to graph 25?
All right. You actually don't have to graph 30. Oh yeah. You said which ones do you have to graph? 25 through 33?
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't use the same graph. Obviously, this is a different situation. So obviously on the X line, just kind of start writing, get to 2 penny, 4 penny, we're going, what, 6, 8, 10, 12. 6, 8, 10, 12 penny, 16 penny,
So you're supposed to like 2
20
steps
penny.
between each or?
and 30 penny. So I would say, yeah, just,
No.
oh, no, just count by twos.
Okay, 2.
2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. All the way up to 36 is where they went, that's far enough.
On both sides.
No, vertical, all it needs is 7 penny.
So just to 32.
4, 5,
7,
6,
10,
7,
12.
7 length, 7 inches of length.
What if we do every other one? Or do you think that there's half?
Huh? Say which?
There's half in this, so do every other one? One.
No, go between. You'll be alright. So, then you start graphing. So 2 penny nail is going to be 1 inch long. One. And the 4 penny is 1.5.
Okay, so we're supposed to.
Get a good guess on there.
So
So see how the 2 penny nail is 1 inch long? So 2 penny.
So we're supposed
1
to
inch.
graph that chart.
Yep.
Oh.
4 penny is 1.5 inches. 6 penny is 2 inches. So on and so forth. So you graph this chart, and you're going to want to use the information from this chart to make an equation. That's a good one.
It's kind of like a mountain.
It's actually going to be a curve. Interestingly, it's 10 and 12 penny nails are the same.
Yeah, and then they just don't use 18 or 12.
Yeah, well, they can't figure out how to count.
These 12.
These 12 not 14. They use 16 not, and 20 not 18.
Are you supposed to draw a line between
So
them?
yes, connect them with a line, and then on the same set of axes, with the same graph, draw, basically figure out, oh, so there's this equation, 0.05x, which is technically 5/10. If that helps you. So 0.05x
Zero.
plus 3. So a slope of 0.05x is going to be,
What number are we
Like-
on?
this is for 37. So you're supposed to draw the solution for this, for the equation y equals 0.05x plus 3. All right? So then you know that the y-intercept is going to be 3. So you go 1, 2, 3. Use this as your y-intercept. And then the 0.05 is your slope. And that's going to be the only part that's really going to be complicated.
Aren't we supposed to use, see, it says use 0, 20, and 30. Aren't we trying to find y?
Oh, yeah, you can do that. X equals 0, 0, 20, and 30. Yeah, I was thinking you would just get the x, y-intercept. My bad. So yeah, so substitute x with 0, which is obviously going to be this one. Well, that's all right. And then 20 and 30. So this equation works for 20, 30, 40, and 50, and 60 penny nails.
And how many are we supposed to graph? Just that one?
Just graph, we'll graph the line.
What do you mean?
Just graph the line. Figure out the equation. Run this equation with 0x, and so y equals, just substitute 0, and then substitute 20,
We're just
and substitute
finding
30
y,
for
like,
x.
like,
Just run this equation 3 different times with x equals 0, x equals 20, and x equals 30. That'll give you an exit of a y-intercept. That'll give you, for 20 penny nail, that'll give you 3.
So y is just, the first one is just y equals 3.
Right. That's why I said the x-intercept, the y-intercept is obviously this 3. This is actually almost a practical application, which is good.
Can you use
There's gonna be another line on this one.
Yes. Graph another line.
3, 4.
What are your points?
3, 4, and 4.5.
3, 4?
3 and 4 and 4.5.
Yes. So but your pairs is what I was talking about originally. So your pair is 0,
3,
0, 3. Your next pair is
24,
24. Your next pair is
30,
34.5. And now you can use that, using that equation to figure out how long a 60 penny nail is. So you can just run that equation again to figure out how long. Basically, just substitute x, substitute 60 for x. We don't have 60 penny graph. We only have 30.
I know, but look, this one follows this line. Straight up that way.
Yeah, that's fine.
So just to use 60.
Just substitute 60 for x.
Okay, 60 plus 1. Now, what do you do next? 65. It's 6.
So 60 penny nail is only 6 inches long, but it probably weighs 227 pounds. All right.
But where
So
do
60
you grab
penny
that
nails.
one or
I
not?
don't think you have to
You
grab
don't have to graph that
Just
one. You
write
just have
it.
to tell me what the length is on that.
to 6 inches.
Here you go. It's time for recess. Well, it's not raining that hard, but we're going to play inside anyway.
That's where people actually
This Bible is just,
Well, that's why I need to learn it, like, before Christmas vacation, I remember that.
I don't know, I'm working on this, like, whichever one right without, no, like, yeah, no. You want to tell me the answers?
I didn't really get it, I kind of knew it.
I look back in the whole lesson and they don't say anything, so.
I can't believe how much I love Thursdays in front.
Tracy, you want to play playful? Well, I'm just giving you a half of the half one thing.
Good rainy weather. Oh, I used the fire tornado for that. Of course I should. Ha! Brilliant idea.
God be a good believer.
Where's the new stuff?
It's in the checkup.
Oh, okay. There's nothing.
You start with the Y intersection.
Yeah, you usually figure out your y-intercept first, so
Yeah, it's 0, but.
your y-intercept is 0? So you can technically just leave that out.
So Y equals.
So if the y-intercept is 0,
2 at 1/3. Y equals 1/3.
you do know y, yeah, right, so y equals 1/3 x.
You already just said it.
Alright, which number was your question?
15.
Yeah, so that was like in all the last two lessons here. I just run into it in the lesson next week. Let's see. I'm pretty sure I told you now. 14.
I should not remember it.
Ah, yes. Page 47.
Page 47?
For Leah's question. What do you have for number 7? Page 47.
I got it.
What do you have?
Things to help me.
Okay. Then let's try 13. What do you have for? Oh, yeah, well, page 53, number 20.
Believer,
Alright, I'm gonna read the whole sentence.
Holy Spirit is doing.
Alright, let's check lesson 14.
Lesson 14.
Yes. Ooh, mush. Alright, number 1. Feast of Unleavened Bread. You with us, Leo?
If I could receive pregnant.
Okay, you better speedily do that. Alright, number 2 is Caiaphas, I guess, or Cephas. I've heard it both ways, and I don't really care at this point in my life. 3, the absence of the multitude. What'd you say?
I have the high priest.
Okay, that's the same thing, it's just that he has a first name. His name is Caiaphas. Caiaphas. He's super fast. 4, they feared the people. 5, the Passover.
I have people like Jesus for 4.
That's good.
I actually, no one would know about it because they feared the people. Yeah.
And then 5 was the Passover. 6, there could be a riot.
People would turn against them.
Yeah, roughly the same connotation. There's 7. He would be betrayed to be crucified.
I have the Son of Man will be betrayed.
All right. 8, Caiaphas. Same question, different answer. 9, it's the same answer, different question. 9, A, greed. B,
I have money.
I have money too.
Aha. Right in greed, it's the same thing but different. B, a woman had anointed Jesus with expensive ointment.
I have complaining about wasted oil.
That works. 10, 30 pieces of silver. 11, when a person's heart turns away from God to idols.
What?
Their greed is for money. Or
Yeah, I have basic
they're
law.
greedy.
Will always
For
open a
money.
person to Satan's influence and control.
I'm when they're greedy.
I would agree for money, but
If you're greedy, that will always happen. Well, not like, if I greedy for dollar answers, it doesn't mean. No.
Where did you get your answer? I just made it up on the fly?
well, I didn't really make it up, but I kind of went with the theme for the story.
Yeah, because he was being greedy.
Did you read the page 55?
Yeah.
Cool. On the top, the second column, it says when a person turns his heart away from God to idols, he becomes vulnerable to Satan's influence.
To the things of the world.
Well, yeah, his idols could be money and greed.
Well, and that is the point, because obviously Judas's idol is money. But they're trying to generalize it here. So if you have a thing about greed or money, I guess I can give you a half, but you want to generalize it more than that in general. Anything.
So I don't like Bible. They want something specific. I don't think
They
just
want a
general.
specific, they want a specific, it was in the reading, almost always. 12A, James 4:7, B. Any 3, deepening our devotion to Jesus Christ by praying often, meditating on God's word, and obeying Him. These are 4, you can have 3. C, draw nigh to God. 13.
For C, I have submit to God, and for B, I have pray, fast, and read your Bible.
Did you read James 4:8?
Yep.
Okay. Oh yeah, I know the verse myself. Draw nigh to God, no draw nigh to you, submit to Him, and
Yeah.
He will exalt you, or something like that. Yeah, I can work with that. Oh, it does say from the beginning of James 4:8, but oh well. Yeah, well, what you said? Do you have something else going on for me?
B, I have pray, fast, and read your Bible.
Pray, fast, and read the Bible. Meditate on God's word, praying often, and obeying Him. Yeah, I suppose I can lump that under preaching our devotion to Jesus Christ. All right, 13. Watch therefore, for ye know neither the day nor the hour wherein the Son of Man cometh. Matthew 25:13. 14. Things that could be idols to young people. Give me one example that you have. Cody. Pickups. That's a returning theme. Richard?
I have one of my scissors money myself.
Okay. Chris?
Clothes.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Phones.
also true. 15. He spent the night.
I have been up there for a long time.
Yeah,
He was up there praying for a long time.
I've been fasted and prayer.
Where's you? Well, I look here to see because I should have been trying to send a lot of ones you do read on. Yeah, just right in behind it, spent the night. As it is in the review, and then those things are always convenient. 16, sheep and goats. 17, righteous.
I have sheep.
So I have sheep and goats.
Sheep people?
Yeah.
Sheep people.
Sheeple and
Sheep.
What do you have for 18?
Goats.
Goat people.
Goat.
That's one thing I don't want to meet is goat people.
Jacob eventually learned to communicate with the goats. And no rebellion against Esau.
Okay, so obviously the question is, Jeremy.
I mean, the righteous are the sheep.
I understand that. Just take a half off of both of them, like I'm just simply not reading what's going on. 19, Christ or Jesus.
My
20,
God.
the Word. 20 is new in spirit and heaven forever.
What?
New
What?
spirit
Start
forever.
over.
20, new spirit forever.
I have spiritual life, eternal grace, and living in heaven.
I have eternal and then judgment.
What do you have for the last one, Richard?
Living in heaven.
Living in heaven instead of forever in heaven.
I have to exist in heaven.
Alright. Get these ones down correctly. New spirit and forever, first of all.
What's the
New spirit and forever.
Okay, I have eternal and judgment.
Do you have new first? New, eternal, and judgment?
No, I have eternal judgment and forever.
Eternal, judgment, and forever. Okay, well, judgment is wrong.
Not kingdom.
Eternal. I can work with eternal, but judgment is wrong.
I have kingdom for the second one.
That's also kind of incorrect. Yeah, take that one off. What do you have there?
For what?
All of 20.
I have eternal life, God's eternal love, and to exist in heaven.
Eternal love and to exist in heaven. Will continue to exist in heaven. Grammatically, that's terrible.
Thanks.
You're welcome. No problem. I'm always willing to consult the grammar book. Just take one off for the middle one, I guess, I suppose. Not really like the last one either, but I guess I'm thinking, about it. Richard, what do you have again?
Spiritual grace, living.
Yeah, just take a point out for the middle one. All right, 21, A and C. All right, just call it, crumbs. Oh, 3 points, I guess. 3 points apiece.
Yeah, I need lots of help.
Okay, moving by self check is, it's all review. Looking up.
Yeah, and it says give 2 things that will be.
Which one?
12. It says give 2 things that will be true for Christians. They will never blank again, and they will not be blank. No, I can't find those.
Okay, so what are we talking about there? About heaven?
I I just looked back and already did my.
Okay, let's go back to the table of contents. Table of contents at the beginning of the book. Okay, well, we might be able to find something in there. Look towards the end. I don't have the table of contents. This is ridiculous.
I don't know.
Where does it talk about Jesus talking about heaven?
It don't, and it's triumphal entry, cleansing the temple, cursing a big tree. The parable of rejection, tricky question, and then I'm come as a light, love, working energy, working ready. Foolish or wise faith, fully serving sheep or goat, betrayal.
Okay, well, what was in the first section? So that's probably why it's so tricky.
It was or wasn't?
It was, yes. Trying to find it in lesson 4 of review. Struggling. Oh, yeah, it's just lesson 4.
It is lesson 4.
Lesson 4, page 20, number 14. If you corrected those and if you had them right, I guess. What do you have?
It says,
Hey!
I have A and C, and A is wrong. But for C, they are called the children of resurrection.
Okay.
And I think A is, it has they will never blank again, and I think it's they will never die again.
Yes. You hurt yourself on Jack. What did Jack do to you? Jack never hurts me. Except for my pocketbook. Jack's always with your dog. No, there's the question.
Have you kicked Jack?
Did you pop the
That when you get mad at cars, you should always
Kick him as hard as possible.
Kick them or whack them or show some
Because it
display of
helps and
rage.
it doesn't hurt you at all.
I read an article about this guy who did like Siri in cars. He was talking about he was like, conversations with cars should be one-sided. It should consist of, come on, you can warm it when it won't start, and stuff like that. And then you had a serious scenario where he was doing that too. It was like, call dad. It was like, Baghdad. He's like, and he's like, no, call dad. Calling Baghdad. And then he's like, and then he was like, please, like calling police. Stop calling cops.
Yeah, it says they will not be blank.
Yes. And that is there.
You
So
sure?
one is that they won't die. You're right. And the other one is they will not be, and that's in that question.
Let's see.
Yeah.
They will not be.
Married.
Okay.
Apparently that's something somebody worries about heaven.
I have they will not be sad, but
Married is correct.
it does make any sense.
You will never be married again?
I've said
Well, in heaven you're not married. Marriage is only an earthly institution.
Well, which one is it for? A or B?
They will never marry again?
They will never be
No, it's not that one. It's, what do you have for number 1?
I have them over the same thing.
That's not true either.
I put they will never suffer again.
That's also not right.
I have that for A.
Yeah, that's also not right.
What?
No. It's more final than that. The answer is they will not die.
Oh, they're
They'll never die again. They died once, so the children of resurrection will never die again. And the second one is they're not going to be married. Marriage is not existing yet. Were there any other questions that we could look at? Hey, you want to see a fire tornado? You can't show it here.
I would see it. After lunch.
She's mad at you now.
My fire company works too. It's super cool. Yeah. All that we need now is for it to be about 10 feet higher. Or you can set this right
Why
where you are.
not, Mr. Hill? Why can't I hear everything?
Well, I'm kind of restricted, I got some limitations.
Are we gonna do this?
What, how high is it gonna be, like, this high or this high?
It's not so high.
Oh, what?
That's boring.
Can you get 5 feet?
Algebra.
Like, that's
I can't get my feet high. Yes. I don't have the right materials. Yes. Christie?
I need help on algebra.
Okay, I'm here to help you.
Okay.
So it's all at 5 minutes before we switch over to language.
And how to do with next what?
The five-step problem?
The 5-step problems.
Oh, Lisa's in there with me.
Okay. What I'm not going to do is I'm not going to pull out my book.
Okay, the
See if we
only
can work
Mr.
through this.
Hinton, if I have my equations, all I need you to do is come look at them.
Okay.
Which one, Christie?
You have your variables?
39, yes.
You set your equation up?
Yes.
Good.
And I don't know if it doesn't come out. I tried it like 3 times.
Okay, let's see what we got here.
Right here and right there.
This is as far as I got on
So it costs $2.72, and you have the value down for each of them?
Yeah.
60 cents.
6 cents.
6 cents, there's a problem. That's 60 cents.
How do you do 6 cents?
0.06.
Okay. Did you do that too?
Yeah, but it didn't come out right, but, whichever are you using as your variable? That's what I'm using too, but then if you go, 122 times 16.
I did 6, but then I did 272.
Say what?
I did 272 and 6.
You do 2.2?
What did you do?
Then you would have to do 2.2 as well. Or
It came out.
22.
It came out.
Oh, you had 272, and you did 6, and you had 22. Yeah, then that works. Then that's fine. Yes.
Did I do it that way? And
Yeah,
skip
you can do
all
that.
of it?
Yeah, you can just convert everything to cents. So you convert your $2.72 to 272 cents.
But 22 times 16 is 352.
Yeah. 352?
Yeah.
What do you think, son?
Yes. So 22
You're looking at the magnets? You have to be careful with these magnets. Richard tried to squeeze his finger off.
It felt so good. It was like
He
a
was
nice
doing that
hand
weird.
massage.
Yeah.
It's like compared to falling off the roof.
And half his finger came off too.
It was
So soothing.
I heard
Richard,
myself.
what were you doing on the roof?
Shutting snow off. Wish people would quit asking me that question.
He was saving the world.
Exactly.
I have been in situations where that actually was a big deal.
No,
He was trying to save himself work. That's what actually was happening, Richard. No, it wasn't.
When they're,
I was saving.
we got
Yourself. Someone
occasional
else's.
snowstorms in Wisconsin.
But like, we got
The
way
snow
more
would
snow
stack
than
up 5 or
we did
6
here.
feet on the roof, and that's when our roof started to cave in. I think actually on my boss's, on the shop roof, it was like almost 8 feet high in some spots. So we got the whole entire crew up on the shop roof shoveling off. It was fun. Nobody died.
Did anyone fall off?
No.
How did no one fall off?
Well, see,
Well,
the
it
thing is,
seems like-
if they do, it doesn't really matter. So it was, I mean, it was an 18-foot eave, which would have mattered, but then we also shoved off the barn roof, which is only a 12-foot.
Magnified?
And we just shoved the snow off and then just jumped in the snow pile. The snow pile came up almost to the eaves.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. How did you put it?
Too bad your snow's in there.
It still wasn't quite that high. 18 feet would be bad.
18 feet wasn't that's not good. But we just we didn't dig the whole way down to the metal because we got a little bit of grip from the snow. And we had things we had lifts and stuff underneath us to keep us from falling down. But basically, there was some concern that everybody would die. Some of the old guys were, well, we weren't sure, but the boss is like, well, I mean, it's either this or else we lose the whole place, so let's give it a whirl.
Lose one person for the place.
That would not have been worth it, but what was I going to do now? Language.
Yeah.
What do you think, son? Good song? Good soup.
5 for the peppermints. Yeah. And 5 minus 16 is 9. Where is there a town called North Pole?
There's one called Rudolph in Wisconsin.
Is there a
North Pole?
town called North Pole?
Yeah,
town
that's in
called
Alaska.
North Pole.
Or, I think so.
North
There's a
Pole.
zigzag
We're
Oregon.
getting him to answer this and he's done.
Say what? Oh, Alaska. There's one, eh?
No, not Alaska. Yeah, it's in Alaska.
So there's like a town Rudolph in Wisconsin.
Yeah. And it has its
As
own
in
special.
like Rudolph's Red-Nosed Reindeer.
It has its own special. Has its own special postmark. So there are lots and lots of people. It's a little town. It's got about 400 people in it, but it's got a special postmark. So people will literally go to Rudolph. They'll drive like an hour to Rudolph to send their Christmas mail. So it'll have the Rudolph. It says some special Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer postmark. So over Christmas, everybody goes to Rudolph to send out their Christmas mail. It's kind of a weird thing, but people do it. I've never done it, but I've
Where
been
do
to Rudolph.
they send their, like, if you send your letter to Santa Claus, you just say, the North Pole.
Sure. Don't put it in the mailbox for crying out loud. Take it to Walmart and stick it in the little doohickey.
Yeah, I thought there's,
Almost like literally almost every Walmart has a little mailbox going direct to Santa. If you feel free to indulge, I would pitch them every cotton bacon one.
You haven't read
Oh, no, there's no way.
I would read
I've got no time for this nonsense.
Don't they send them back to the parents then? So the kids just leave their letters to rot in the mailbox. For no reason.
Well, I think people do read them. I actually remember, I was just thinking back, I remember there was one occasion where it was like some podcast or something where people were reading notes to Santa. There's a bunch of kids saying, give me Legos and Nerf guns. And American Girl dolls and Barbies. And I want one of those electric cars. Anyway, there were some that were actually pretty selfless, but then there were a lot that weren't. I literally listened to, I think, 4 minutes of it, and I was...
Did you ever
Why
read
did
the
they
babies?
There was something else part in the podcast that I was trying to find. Something actually that was kind of cool. It was, I forget what the context was. All I remember is this thing about Santa. The Santa letters, but it was something, some religious something about.
Something.
Yeah, I can't remember. I can't remember the rest of it. All I remember is.
Did you ever read the 10-month-old baby's letter to Santa?
No.
It's hilarious. It's like he lists a whole bunch of things in the house. He's like, regardless of what my parents say, I don't want a new blanket, a new onesie, or this new thing. And then he goes, and then he'll show pictures of what he wants, and he goes like, if there was on the phone, he's like, I have no idea what this is, but it must be incredibly fun, judging by the amount of time Mommy spends on it. And then he also wanted a toilet paper roll.
You know, the cool thing about toilet paper rolls, you know those super fast toilets in the public restrooms? The ones that flush and just like
Spray water everywhere.
everywhere. They're terribly gross and nasty, but if you take a piece of, if you take toilet paper and start it,
Oh
the
yeah!
hole and then flush it, literally the whole.
Oh,
And you just for about
Terribly
for about 6 months. For about 6 months, Justy was looking at pictures on Calvin and Hobbes, and they did that. They stuck the toilet roll in the toilet and flushed it, and like the whole roll went down. And so Justy did that, and he clogged the toilet almost every day for a while.
No, I didn't actually. So like, if it's the right toilet, it works
It was
great.
such
And
a-
actually, airplane toilets work pretty well as well.
Those are natural.
That would be incredibly funny because everybody else would go in there and like, come out looking at something.
Looking very discouraged. But yeah, so usually there's an extra roll of toilet paper in the,
Do you use them both or?
Well, get
Well,
yourself
you go on, no. I never did it for one, just to make sure it would work.
Did it work?
Yeah.
What was it, a public restroom?
Yeah.
what's the ketchup one, the sour cream one?
It was in my. Well, I mean, you get on these kicks. So right now I'm on a fire kick. I'm burning everything inside. You know, and for a while I float. You never know. Never know what you need.
Ready to roll?
Calm down, younger. All right. Don't do that. That's irresponsible. I just wanted to let you know that's what happens. You have to direct
I'm
my
so gonna do that.
mildly regretting my decision to tell you, but it is very enjoyable. And as long as it works. Sometimes things don't work. You have to test the flushing ability. All right.
Kyler, is your dad pretty naughty at home?
He's silent.
So much work. Never blow anything up.
Is that true? Does your dad blow stuff up?
Kyler,
See?
made to keep quiet. Yeah. Kyler, how many donuts? Kyler, how many donuts did he have to pay you to keep you quiet?
Hey, Kyler, if you tell us the truth, we might give you
There's no interest until these guys.
We'll give you
Those are
all
awesome
cherry
things to
ones.
tell. All right. So, what is a compound complex sentence for those of you in the 8th grade language who are running out of time to finish their work?
It has 2 independent clauses and 1 or more dependent clauses.
That's correct. What do dependent clauses do?
They're dependent promises.
They're dependent promises.
Puerto Rico to the United States.
Yes. And they describe what? Or what are give me 3 different types of dependent clauses?
No, adjective, adverb.
Noun, adjective, and adverb clauses. All right. We're going to do basically everything up to 15 in class, so we'll just leave it at that. 16 on page 2, Friday night. It was underlined in 17 last evening. 18. After combined, that comma. 19 after wildlife. 20.
How many wrong are there, these?
Those are worth 1 point apiece.
Ouch.
20 is VT on Alaska. 21 VI. 22 VT in Alaska again.
Is it 2 wrong? If,
Is it VI? I'll give you grace on this one.
Okay,
mean,
I
grace or
circled.
no? Yeah, blueberries is underlined. Grow is circled.
grow or growth?
Grow, no S. It's plural. Strawberries, raspberries, and blueberries grow. 28, daddy or mother reads. That's your daddy and mother again. 29, author and illustrator is. 31, monotheism. 32, cardiology. 33, theology. 34, optimism. 35, geology. 36, atheism. 37, psychology with psychology. 38, ecology. 39, racism. 40, zoology. 41, ornithology. 42, communism. 43, microbiology. 44, neurology. 45, pessimism. 46, biology. 47, meteorology. 48, patriotism. 49, archaeology. 50, genealogy.
One thing I noticed is on racism they say a false belief, and then atheism and monotheism, those aren't false beliefs.
For 40 and 41, what are those?
40 is zoology. 41 is ornithology.
30, what are 31 and 32?
31 and 52 are monotheism and cardiology. All right.
300 points, right?
Point and a half per.
Wow.
So 1.5 points per thing. So that'll be like if you have 2 wrong, that'll be 3 points off. If you have 1 wrong, it'll be just count 1 point off.
I have 7 wrong.
So 7 wrong, so that would be.
Yeah, I do 2.
So you
Just
have
be a 90,
2.
right?
So what?
It'd just be a 90, right?
I just got 2 ducked off for the penmanship.
Yes.
So that's 90. Right?
Yes.
What about
Oh. So go your number, multiply by 1.5. So 7 times 1.5 is going to be, I guess, 6 times 1.5 would be 9. So it's add another 1, so 10, so it's 90. Just 90. All right. Diagramming compound complex sentences actually is very similar to everything else we have done. The one thing you have to do is you have to underline the independent clauses and bracket the dependent clauses, drawing an arrow to the words they modify. All right, so let's just start with number 5. Simple, straightforward. Basically, this is just matching everything together. You do everything the same. You have to make sure that the dependent clause is modifying the thing that you think it is. All right, we're going to start. The first independent clause, Richard, is
Just
what?
read a book about bobsleds.
For 1?
Like
You're on
number
there.
5.
Oh, on page 5, number 1.
You cannot hide from God.
Cannot hide from God. Underline that, because that's an independent clause. And then the next independent clause, Chris.
He is there too.
That's an independent clause. And Leah,
Well,
the dependent clause and the word it modifies.
wherever you are
Yeah.
is the
And it goes to which? It'll go to that side of the sentence. obviously.
He is there too?
Well, it'll go to that, but which word specifically? Which question is it answering?
where.
Where, right? So it means it's an adverb clause. So it goes to describe a verb, right? So it goes to is. All right. Yeah, sure. We'll go over what that, how you diagram that one. Where do you put? Well, Cody, what's the subject of the first sentence?
You
You. Verb.
can hide.
Can hide. All right. What about from God?
Prepositional phrase.
From God. And what about not? Adverb. All right. And our next independent clause, Richard.
He
Subject is he. And our verb
is.
and
And there and to are adverbs.
there and to are adverbs. That's correct. Where's the adverb?
Hey, what does the adverb clause modify? It modifies to is.
Oh, right. It modifies is
But
on
it
the
seems
second
like,
one.
It seems
So-
like it should modify there.
Well, because it answers a question where, it's an adverb, so it's modifying.
Yeah.
All right, so on this line, basically make sure you join verbs when you're working with compound sentences. So in this line, we'll put our semicolon. And then our adverb clause, like we said, modifies is, so it means it goes from where to where? It goes between the verbs.
Is to are.
It goes from is to are. All right. Dependent clause, Chris. For 1.
You, wherever you are.
Wherever you are. So the subject is you. Verb is
Are
and where does wherever go?
on the side of the line.
On this line right here. All right. There you go. Simple and simple. And then went ahead and you wrote all of them down for you pretty much. Like that's except for 4 and 5. So they have a few interesting things. Let's look at 5. That's going to be our hard one, I think.
I is the subject.
So first of all, first things first, underline your independent clause and bracket your dependent, and don't say yet. Independent clauses. Underline the independent clauses and bracket the dependents. Cody, what's the dependent clause?
If I go to Alaska.
If I go to Alaska, is the dependent clause, and it is modifying what?
Adverb, or it's an adverb clause.
It is an adverb clause modifying
Would like.
would like. So, the independent clauses, Leah, give me one.
5.
5, yes.
I just read a book about dogs.
All right, and give me another independent clause, Richard.
I would like to ride them.
All right, me too. We don't have many dog sleds around here. All right, so the first sentence is, there was a dog sled trail there. I found once when I was sledding down.
Dad got a text message from some guy that wants to buy hay for the dogs on the dinner ride.
Wants to buy hay for them?
Yeah, for them to land.
They're eating hay instead of fish now? All right.
Since when?
The verb for the first one.
Red.
Red.
And just
Correct.
is an adverb.
Just is under red. That's correct. Now what? What about book?
Direct object.
Direct object.
About.
A is an adjective of book.
Yes, it is an adjective.
What would about dog sleds be?
About dog sleds. So about is a preposition.
It's a prepositional phrase, I know, but where does it go?
What is it describing? The
Book.
book. That's correct. So it goes under the book. About dog sleds.
Does that little line, like the dotted line, does that go between the verbs?
Yes, if you're joining compound sentences, it goes between the verbs. All right. So our next independent clause is next because you're using independence first and independence second. All right. So our next independent clause is what?
I would like to ride them.
Okay. I is the subject. There's not even make you do that. And what is the verb? Leah?
I would like.
Would like is the verb. All right. And what else do we have?
An infinitive?
An infinitive. Hang on. So infinitives are used as?
Direct object? Noun.
Yes. They're used as nouns. So in this case, it's going to be a direct object. So we have an infinitive acting as a direct object. So a direct object. What's our infinitive?
To ride one.
To ride. Where does one go?
Direct object.
As a direct object of the infinitive. All right. And we join our compound sentences together where?
Verb.
Between the verbs. So do. And what do we put on it? Semicolon. All right. Now we have our dependent clause, which is
It goes under would like.
goes under would like. That's right, because it modifies would like. We should have our arrow up there going from if I go to Alaska to would like. So, what kind of verb? What kind of clause is it? It's an adverb clause. So that means the dotted line goes from verb to verb. And what goes on the line?
Go. Or if.
If. And the subject of the clause?
I.
Verb of the clause?
Go. Or go.
Go. And what else do we have?
To Alaska.
What's to Alaska?
Phrase.
Prepositional phrase. Why is it not an infinitive?
It's a verb.
Not a verb. All right.
That's hard.
That's a good sentence. Nice job. All right. Number 6. What's the adverbial noun phrase?
Last summer, John and
Last
his
summer.
family.
Just last summer. And number 8, Leah. What's the noun clause?
That period rate was unresponsive
Yes, it was. How was it being used?
and
That's correct. Ooh, they got lots and lots of diagrams going on with there.
Yeah.
Son, and what a paragraph.
Where?
26.
Okay, do you actually have to do that?
So what? You ask questions like that and it makes me want to make you do it. I'm sitting here looking at it. I'm trying to decide. I'll cut it down for you to, because of our time constraint and because of diagrams, I'll cut it down to May. So from in to May. And?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so I have a question on number 4.
Oh,
So-
yes.
It has Gan of words and then it has
Yeah.
semicolon but.
Do you have your, yeah, so what they did is they just left the semicolon out. You can do semicolon but on the line, actually, it works fine. Because you have your semicolon and conjunction. That's what I would do, just so there's no confusion.
Where?
That. All right. Any further questions, comments, struggles?
Yeah, I struggled with lots of them, but
That's unfortunate. Too bad. We're going to just ignore those. If you can't put it into words, we can't help it. English. What's an adjective clause, English?
Starts with the relative pronoun.
Starts with a relative pronoun. What does it describe?
Adverb, adjective.
All right. Give me an example of relative pronoun.
That.
That. Adverb clauses. What do they do?
Start with the subordinate.
Start with subordinate conjunction. And answer which questions? Yes. What kind of words do they modify? Words and adverbs. The words where and when can be subordinating conjunctions or relative pronouns. So how do we tell the difference between when they start off an adjective clause and when they start an adverb clause? Probably modified. So when an adverb clause at the beginning of a sentence, what happens to it? See, I should spell that out in order to be grammatically correct.
You want us to put that right?
Hmm?
You want us to put it right?
Yes.
But I got the message I got
Oh, what?
my first job when I was 15.
No, it was 15 and no first job. Okay, so
I got my first job when I was 15.
doesn't really matter. They can be either way. When they're at the beginning of a sentence, though, what happens to them? They get set off by comma. So what kind of sentence is, and what kind of clause is this? Adverb is correct. You know, it starts with a when. What word is it? Modifying. It's modifying, yes. That is answering which question? When. All right. So I made you do lesson 3, just to review. And today we're going to talk about elliptical adverb clauses. Just to kind of ease you back into this, tomorrow we're actually going to do 4. My plan was it's something different than what I meant to do. Right. So we will.
Is this before just review?
Yeah, essentially, it's just kind of just starting everything back up from where we left off when we were speech playing. Sometimes coming back and catching up with stuff is good. Although elliptical adverb clauses are not something we studied before, so.
I don't think we learned before though.
So what?
I don't think we learned.
It's possible. Elliptical adverb clauses are essentially just when writers or in daily life, you eliminate words from an adverb clause, just kind of to eliminate wordiness. So, an example is Elijah was not as young as Elisha. So the thing is, this. So we have an adverb clause here, and our adverb clause is as Elisha. The problem is it doesn't have a verb. There's an understood verb, but because we're lazy and because we apparently don't need it, it's understandable without that was we actually leave it off. All right, so this is called an elliptical adverb clause, just simply because they drop a word out. This case, we drop out the verb. Was is obviously the verb. Occasionally, they are formed by eliminating the subject, but leaving the predicate, or at least part of it. Like this. All right, our adverb clause is what?
While
While eating
eating my soup.
my soup. What is it missing?
While I was eating my
Right, it's missing the subject and the verb, to be real honest. While I
Part of
was.
the verb. Is it when I'm eating?
Well, yeah, I suppose that's part of it, but it's missing for sure the helping verb. So while I was eating my soup. So there again, it's elliptical just because it's just leaving stuff out. Elliptical, I'm not quite sure why they call it elliptical because that's
Eclipse.
no, that's different. An ellipse, have you ever heard of an ellipse? An ellipse is basically an oval. So I don't know, they're saying it's just circular reasoning. I have no clue.
Eclipse though? I don't
Eclipse,
know.
ellipse, they're different.
Elliptical.
Elliptical means going like this. I'm not sure why they call it elliptical.
Oh, I see.
I just don't know. I have no clue. All right. So what is this modifying? It's an adverb, yes. It's answering which question. That's kind of the thing you can use. Which question is it answering?
So, for one, when rabbit
When-
stew is properly made, rabbit stew can be delicious.
All right. Hang on. I'm not there yet. All right. When properly made, rabbit stew can be delicious. All right. So you want to rewrite the elliptical as an entire adverb clause. So maybe just for practice on this one, where's your clause? Put brackets around it.
When properly made.
When properly made, bracket that thing. So what is it missing?
First,
When is it?
It's missing a subject and part of the verb. That's correct. Same situation as we had. So how would we write that?
When rabbit stew is properly made.
Or you can write, because you don't want to be saying rabbit stew twice in the same sentence. You can say when it is properly made. Rabbit stew can be delicious.
But we still have to set it off with comma.
Say what?
We still have to set it off.
Yes, you still have to set it off with a comma. Like, it's an adverb clause at the end. Yeah, it's an adverb clause at the beginning.
When you, when rabbit stew is properly made, it can be,
Say what?
once you just said when rabbit stew is properly made, it can be delicious.
Right. What about for number 2? What would we do? Lisa, do you have any ideas?
Mm-hmm.
See if you can locate,
And fiber.
hang on, locate the clause.
As fiber as red.
As the red. So yes. No, it's not. That's the clause, as the red. So what is it missing?
Is the red one.
As the red one is, as the red one was, or you can have as the red geranium is. So the pink geranium is not as vibrant as the red one is. That one actually feels a little bit awkward. All right, I'm gonna let you do
Let
number
me try
two.
again. So that one.
For two, there's two different ways to fix it. How would you do it? Okay, what's our clause?
As the red.
As the red. What is it missing? And verb. So we need to add a subject and verb. What's the subject? We can use a pronoun, or we can use a we can use a noun as well. Pink geranium is not as vibrant as the red. Needs a subject. What's the logical subject?
As the red one is.
There you go. Subject and verb. All right. I think I'm gonna leave you with 4, 5, 6, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I want to look at 7 and 8 a little bit. So elliptical clauses that use as or than require the same case of pronoun as if the clause were complete, right? So basically, if you were to complete the clause, you use the same pronoun. So notice here how it says, Marcia got a higher grade than I or me. If you were to complete the elliptical, you would say, Marcia got a higher grade than I got, right? So you would still use I rather than me. Because I is the correct pronoun for that situation. There's another example. Eduardo tutored Rick more than I or me. So you would fix that elliptical by saying, Eduardo tutored Rick more than he tutored I, more than he tutored me. So it's obviously me. All right, so for 7, how would you fix the elliptical? Annie said that she could type faster than I could. That's right. So you would say I. Annie said that she could type faster than I. And for 8, the elliptical goes at the end. Although 2 years younger, Austin's brother is nearly as tall as he or him. He. How would you fit? Right. So you would say as he is. So you would solve the goal. Let's check 11 through 27 here. And then on to bigger things. 11 is adverb. And because the night sky looks different there. 12, adjective, whose name means hunter. 13, adverb, when you are looking for the big dipper. 14, adjective, which is the shape of a large W. 15, sang. 16, has become. 17, will be making. 18, has been planning.
I have had been.
Had been? Okay, that would be incorrect. Have, no, it wouldn't. Have or had. Either one would work.
Like, so for 17, I have the girls are making.
No, so that's just future. It needs to be future progressive. So it has to have that will be. We should make a chart hang on the wall. Probably. Oh, could use official aid material over there in the corner. 19, adverb. 20, adjective. 21, noun. 22, noun. 23, king. 24, cheerful and respectful. 25, subject. Who worked with the poor in India and who is circled. 26, adverb, where she worked, and where is circled. 27, object preposition, to whom she gave the most attention, and whom is circled.
I don't have to in the stuff.
I don't either.
I have that.
Take that now. I'm not going to give you grade on that one until we check 1 through 10 tomorrow. Any questions?
On number 4 is even in the.
Right back, Chris. We're going to be doing spelling words here in a minute. Alright. Spelling is practice. Right now.
This is supposed to be 90.
90 columns if it's on a half page, if it's on going against a sheet of half inch steel. Any less steel than that is 97 columns. But yes, it is fairly hard.
Yeah, it's fairly hard.
Wow.
Alright.
Holy.
And then do 2 workers. Because it's
So what?
Alright, gentlemen, think.
that's scratching.
Do cardiology. Cardiology, Chris. Ecology, ornithology, biology. Cardiology, ecology, ornithology, biology.
It was just 40 hours, so then
Ooh, okay, you don't need that total.
you 40.
Ornithology. I know sometimes they throw in extra vowels, but this time they didn't. Cardiology, all right. And optimism,
Another one.
geology, racism, archaeology. Did you get that? Optimism? Cool. So it's AEO because reasons. RKE.
Otherwise known as you don't know?
AEO.
Otherwise, if you don't know.
Pretty much, yeah. They just threw a whole bunch of all that. Basically, missing IU. They even have Y in there. All right. And monotheism, atheism, microbiology, patriotism.
Monotheism.
Monotheism, atheism,
Yeah, that's
microbiology, patriotism. Good.
Scared for my life here.
Yeah, well, it's probably wise. Theology, basically if you had a pacemaker, it would shut you down. Theology, communism. I don't know who the pacemaker is.
What's a pacemaker?
It's a little special gizmo that makes you heart and all.
How close?
Theology, communism, pessimism, and urology.
How close do you
Meteorology.
have to be to?
I don't know.
Like, would they just walk into the room?
Pessimism, you need two S's here. Pessimism. No, I think you'd have to get within a couple feet of it to really make it shut them down.
The heart things?
Yeah. That's a special, it takes a bit, yeah, reasons. Psychology, zoology, neurology, and genealogy.
So I put an H there every time.
Neurology is N-E-U. And then an E, so it's a U here, and yeah, just O-G-Y. Yeah. And genealogy, G is E-A here. E-A-ology. Psychology, you need psychology, so they made it the C-H.
Yeah, I know how to do it.
C-H-O-L.
Psychology.
Scared for my life.
Erase them.
So how many pounds of pressure did this thing have pulling against his
I don't know. They only measured against a half-inch plate. Erase them, please.
Well, how many please give me that?
Cardiology, ecology, ornithology, biology.
Zoology? I did that one last time.
Well, last. You didn't do biology. Last one was strict.
I did.
Can't have. Biology is good. Ecology, ornithology. Yes. Biology. Mostly good. Yes. Yeah. G looks like an A with a long tail. That's all right.
Right.
Optimism, geology, racism, archaeology.
Geology?
Geology it is. Racism. That's yours.
It should be racist.
Is that a Y or an E or what's going on there? At the end.
Oh, that's a Y.
That's a Y? Okay, I wasn't sure. It sure looks funny. Optimism is T-I-M. Optimism.
I like to write words like
I don't actually look at archaeology entirely.
without taking my hands off the paper, but not doing cursive.
Good job. All right. Monotheism, atheism, microbiology, patriotism. Make sure I can read these.
Microbiology.
Microbiology, yes. Monotheism, atheism, that's two.
I'm doing my left hand.
Well, I know, but not
What is
necessarily.
it
All right.
on the Bible?
And theology, communism, pessimism, meteorology.
For the white.
Communism.
Just the.
Communism, good. Systemism. Where's the E?
I can't.
Okay.
What you said, write it, not in cursive without taking your.
Oh, right, cursive.
painful.
Without, it's actually doesn't hurt.
I feel like you did that.
I just had something on my fingers.
You don't, it's fine like that, you just don't want to push
Yeah,
it.
you don't-
Yeah.
The problem
Yeah,
is,
I don't
the
wanna do
closer
that.
they get, the closer they get to where they're pulling on, the stronger they pull. So the less there is between them, the more they pull. All right, okay, what did I do? Psychology, zoology, neurology, genealogy.
So how much power? So how many like power
Like
does the two magnets together do?
Well,
Okay, that
straight
one.
parts.
It's like
Oh,
trying
my
to.
mom right.
Half Christian, half French.
Genealogy is,
The letters here.
I like that, an R and an
Just
O.
no A
It looks like
here.
an I.
And it's
What's this?
EA after the N, instead of EO. There you go, genealogy. Because whatever, I did not see your literature.
What was it?
Neurology,
Yeah,
psychology, yes.
Psychology.
Zoology, that's good.
So you take these never apart from like two magnets.
No, you'll destroy them.
That would be like you can alter the course on
Good deal. Alright, we have some struggles with algebra yet, or no?
Yeah, figuring them out.
Good. How are we figuring?
I'm just great.
Richard, you ever said about 100, did you say it right?
No, you only have 5 minutes.
Well, I had one time to say it today.
Well, I'm just saying, I didn't make that rule. All I'm saying is don't ask me 5 times if you can say it, because I have other things to do. Wait until you're pretty sure you got it. I'm just saying that was a rule. That was a rule in one of my last schools. Say what?
You want us to check, you want me to check this question? That's me,
Should we check today? No, we didn't have time, did we?
and this is my work. I think that's all of it. There was another page or something.
Handed in. I like to look at your work. I feel like I learned more about your work by checking it than I did not, because I feel like I get a better grip on what's going on. We can get some of this stuff under control. So I guess I'll check it as much as I don't really like to do that.
As much as you would love to look around on that paper.
Actually, it's a lot of work to check algebra.
Yeah. Like my writing,
Yes, especially your writing. Good writing, though.
my little scribbles. I wonder how my other teachers did it, because they all just checked my work. I had terrible writing. Worse than this.
Is it?
Yeah, and this one key sticks.
Oh, yes.
The O key kind of sticks sometimes.
So
Okay,
you get
just
a lot.
break pop in there.
I might be fixing it.
And we-
How is the typing with the keycaps going? Is it working?
Yeah.
Good.
I'll show you some of my
I
scores
was
then.
on.
Are they down farther? Or are they back up to what they were?
Isn't that around 6?
That's not terrible. I mean, that means that you're getting.
No, I
close.
hit 29 with them on.
Good. What were you at with the lock? 30 something?
No, 31.
31? Then we made a little difference. But I'll tell you, in the end result is, that's redundant. The result is going to be much, much better. But you'll be able to hit much higher words per minute.
Okay, I'm gonna say it.
You're good?
If that's okay with you right now.
I can do that right now.
This is mine.
Perfect amount of time. All right.